want to make an original lamp, we said original, so not like this, and not like this neither, even though it's pretty cool. No, something that is really out of the ordinary. Ordinary. By the way, if you really do not understand my English accent, I have put some subtitles. And nothing like epoxy resin to thrill our imagination and create an original lamp. In this video, I will share with you 6 tips to improve your skills in making this type of lamp. For that, nothing better than a concrete example. Hello everyone and welcome to this channel. We can do it. Today we will see how to make a lamp with resin, wood, light for lamp. Seriously, Aude? That's a really bright idea. And finally, a little mystery ingredient. It will complete the decor, create a nice atmosphere and bring that little touch of originality that we are looking for. But what ingredient will I choose today? A little mystery side, movement thanks to the tentacles, presence and perfect size? Go for the jellyfish. Not a real one obviously, because the real ones really sting too much. The challenge? A mysterious lamp, original, beautiful if possible, and functional, well, a lamp that works. Voila! Stay tuned until the end because I will reveal my challenges along the way. If you have never made epoxy resin, I invite you to watch this video. I add the link. Please let me know if you like the video. Let's go! I start by creating the wooden structure of a lamp. For this, I will use wooden sticks. Rather these ones. They are easily found in stores and are quite cheap. I will cut them and then assemble them to create a nice frame for my lamp. To cut those, I use a meter saw, but you can of course use a manual saw. It is also very easy. Before pouring the resin between the pieces of wood, I need a mold that will hold the resin and give a nice shape to my lamp. I want a fairly simple shape here, easy to sand, so I'm going to start with a rectangular parallelepiped. Huh? Well, okay, I had to look it up on the internet. Well, it's a kind of a rectangular cube and it's called parallelepiped. I will use a fairly thick plexiglass for the mold. This will prevent my mold from changing shape during the reaction of the resin with the hardener. now time to pour the resin. I will make several layers because my resin is a top coat one that allows me to pour only 1 centimeter of maximum thickness. I strongly recommend that you do not make the same choice and use casting resin for this type of project. More liquid, it allows you to make thicker layers. Let's not forget the safety equipment. The epoxy resin is toxic before its complete hardening. It is also imperative to work in a well-ventilated area. For the color, I choose yellow. It will change. After all, the sea is yellow, right? We move to our famous inlay, so I choose a jellyfish. For my jellyfish, I found this little creature quite realist. In addition, they are phosphorescent. The most complicated thing will be to keep a nice shape for the body and the tentacles while I pour the resin. I want to avoid it from crushing, it will be much less pretty. For the resin I use, I will have to wait 3 days for complete hardening before I can unmold. This can vary from one resin to another, but generally it lasts at least a few days. So it's time to get some fresh air. It's finally been 3 days, even a little more. I can now start sanding to have very straight, very smooth and beautiful transparent faces. This step is certainly a little bit long, but it will give you complete satisfaction. Or not, disaster in less than 2 minutes. Be careful for this step, it is vital to protect yourself to avoid breathing resin dust. Best is to equip yourself with a vacuum cleaner to avoid having dust flying everywhere, especially if you are sanding outside. Here it is, a horror. I sanded on the lights and I damaged the LEDs. It is a disaster. Well done! Fortunately, I still managed to have some LEDs. I have put a lot and not everything broke. It's part of the game when testing new things, so here's another mistake not to make: stick the light against the mold. Let's pull ourselves together, we cannot give up. I still have to finish sanding the other sides and polishing. Well, I protected the bare part of the lights with the UV resin, and at the end of the sanding I will apply a top coat of epoxy resin on the entire surface. It's over, so is the lamp mysterious enough to have nightmares? Beautiful? I let you judge. And yes, it works. Now, my 6 tips for making a successful lamp. First, before starting, think carefully about how you will arrange the light. It will save you a lot of trouble, for example, destroying your light when sanding because it is located too close to the edges, which happened to me. 2. Think carefully about the finish. Do you plan to sand all the way through or rather to pour a top coat layer of resin? Both are possible, but in the second case, you should practice beforehand because it is more difficult to obtain a perfect result with a top coat, especially when it is a large surface. You can see here, we often see traces of resin. In this case, be sure to use a high viscosity resin, a top coat resin that will probably leave fewer traces. 3. Think about all the options for your mold. This could save you a lot of time. For example, here I could have chosen to make a vertical mold and not an horizontal mold to have a more natural movement at the level of the tentacles of my jellyfish. It is possible to make several molds, but obviously it will take you more time. 4. Think carefully about the resin you plan to use. Top coat or casting, this is a common mistake when starting with the resin. Yes, the resin market is vast, very vast. There are many types of resin with very different viscosities. Don't be fooled like me for this type of creation. Choose a more liquid resin that will allow you to pour thicker layers without the risk of trap bubble. Therefore, a better rendering and thicker layers also means time saved. 5. Coat your inlay well in the resin before pouring everything to avoid having pretty bubbles that would come from your object, like here with my jellyfish. And 6. The most important thing, have fun and really let your imagination run wild. It is the secret of a successful lamp. That's the advantage of the resin, you can really be very creative. Now you know how to make a mysterious lamp out of resin, wood and with an inlay. I hope you liked the video and that it was useful to you. If so, I invite you to like and to subscribe if it's not already done. Tell me in the comments if you too have started to make your own lamp. What difficulties did you encounter and what did you love? See you soon for another weekend full of creativity. Bye bye!